What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Malky Pablo. In today's video, we're going to discuss the art of applying smart pressure and the mind of an elite when, applying smart pressure. So, it's certain aspects in which you could apply smart pressure. You could apply pressure from the video game mechanics, or you could apply pressure from kind of your IQ of the sport of boxing. So we're gonna try to break down both. Now, the first part we're gonna do is the IQ part of like actually knowing, boxing. And far as applying pressure, it has to make sense. You can't just come forward in straight lines. I know Fight Night isn't one of those games to where it's a lot of angles you could go and move, and it's a lot of goofy stuff on Fight Night. We know that. We've been only knowing this since the last not only 11 years, but kind of the overall history of Fight Night. This dating back even to 2004. Every Fight Night got its gimmicks and its pros and cons to it. So with this pressure stuff, y'all gonna have to hear me out because it's gonna be elements of things that's realistic, that embodies the sport of boxing, but it's gonna also be some gimmicks into it. So the first thing you have to do is understanding the range. Now I'm gonna give an actual boxing example of applying pressure, what to do and not to do. So for example, you take a fight like Floyd Mayweather and Jose Luis Castillo. If you look at how he's cutting the ring off, he's not following, he's just cutting the ring off at a smart enough distance. Guys like Julio Cesar Chavez, Gennady Golovkin, they really know how to cut the ring off. So the first thing you want to do, let's say, we're going to say two orthodox fighters, right? So in Fight Night instance, when you're an orthodox fighter, most people like to throw uppercuts and power straights. Now I'm going to give it to you from the video game standpoint and the actual aspect of boxing. So most people like to sidestep. Most of their offense consists of sidestep uppercuts and straights and power punches. That's really the main thing. Mostly the power straight, step uppercut, step uppercut. So you got two orthodox fighters. One fighter likes to step to his right. So me and you both in orthodox, right? And you apply this to the opposite stance if it's like that, right? So let's say two orthodox. You fighting from your right side because you want that outside positioning to sidestep and shoot the uppercut off of a counter, or if it's just a person in a stationary guard, whether it's Cross or Philly, if they just standing there stationary and you close, you want to say step uppercut, step uppercut. What you do is if they orthodox, their offense is generated from the right side. So as they're rotating to their right side, you want to rotate to your left side to box them in. And boxing them in, you're not going in a straight line. You slightly moving the controller over just a little bit. You want to step in close enough where you at a range to where you could punch, but not too close to where when you punching, you getting caught. Also, you want to make sure you're doing the smart shots. So you don't want to be dead close to a person and you shooting jabs to the head or body shots. Body jabs. That's silly. You want to make sure your punch selection is perfect. If you rotate to your right, I'm going to rotate to my left. If you rotate to, you know what I'm saying? No, if you rotate to your right, I'm rotating to my left, vice versa. So, booms. What happens is I like to shoot an uppercut to the body, primarily a power uppercut in Fight Night. So what happens is now my punch isn't just going to, oh, this person moved to that side. It's like football. You don't throw the ball to where the receiver's at. You throw it to where the receiver will be. So I'm throwing the punch to where I think you're going to be. If you watch Teofimo Lopez in the Lomachenko fight, that's what he did. He didn't do an extreme amount. He wasn't ultra efficient in that fight, but he was efficient enough with his offense. What happens is when you applying smart pressure, you making your opponent fight faster. Most of the time, most guys who are boxers like to fight on the outside in Fight Night instance, kind of the cheese outside fighters who uppercut, run. They put their hands down to get momentum. What I like to do when they do that is I'll shoot like a jab. If you got a respectable jab that's a 10 or you using the guy, let's say like a Rocky Marciano, you could close the gap enough to shoot a jab. So say they rotating to their right and I'm moving at a respectable range, I'm at a range to where I kind of got them uncomfortable enough to shoot that uppercut because they know I'm out of range enough to where they can't land it to the way they want, but also they circling into the punch that I want to throw. So then what happens is they try to rotate out, right? So them rotating out is they going to their left. Now they're going to their left, I'm going to my right. But I'm not ultra sidestepping. That's silly. I'm just close enough, but at a further enough range, and then I'm shooting a powered body uppercut. So what happens is they circle into that. So what happens is now they at a point to where that you close the gap, so they uncomfortable, they fighting faster. So you'll start seeing people like wiggle with the controller, like they moving laterally back and forth, back and forth. Here's what you do, how you trap them. So let's say they moving back to the left side. They orthodox. They really want the fight to be fought on the right side. So what happens now is as they rotate into that angle, I'm shooting the body shot. So they like, all right, shoot. I can't keep going that way. So they rotate back to their left. So now I'm shooting the left hook upstairs. They don't want to go there no more. So now they're going back and forth. Now they go back to the same side that I initially landed that body uppercut on. What happens now? The straight come down the pipe. Now I might not land any of those punches, but it's a situation to where the opponent they get stuck and it throws their momentum off. I've been doing that a lot in OWC. That's one of the ways to apply pressure. Take away their dominant side and force them to the opposite side. I know y'all probably say that explanation was long-winded, but I wanted to give you an example of real boxing as well as the video game mechanics executed to make it work, because most people just apply pressure. They just literally say, okay, I'm gonna walk this person down. Oh my gosh, you're running. I hate people that fight like that. This is a disgrace to the game. Bruh, nobody wanna hit none of that. I don't like all the stuff on Fight Night. I don't like always the way I'm forced to fight in order to sustain, get a victory. However, what I don't like is losing. So I can't do the full boxing IQ stuff I wanna do all the time, and I might gotta video game it. When you play a video game, bruh, it ain't about to be peaches and cream every game. So you got to find a way to win regardless of the person's style. So that's why I tell y'all, take away, most people can't fight on two sides. Take away their dominant side. That's like it's common sense thing. If you're fighting an elite southpaw fighter, you want to rotate kind of to your left. You want to, because they got the outside positioning. So you want to take away from that. You want to be able to make your opponents fight faster than they want, because like I said, especially when you're an outside fighter, like most of the Fight Night players who's not really using extreme IQ, they look at it from the standpoint of I can just sidestep, uppercut, and I can beat people, which that can happen. I'm trying to get you all to take that arsenal away from them, because like I said, when you don't really know the sport, certain stuff like that does come back to haunt you when you play somebody who know what they doing. Because that's why I say when you apply that pressure, when you make them fight on one side, they start doing stuff like step uppercut, step uppercut. In real boxing, bro, you can't step and throw uppercuts is the least thrown punch for the amazing reason. Who wakes up and just shoot uppercuts in a fight? That's a punch you kind of got to know, you know what you're doing. You don't just throw that. So that's my thing, guys. Take away that opponent dominant side. Don't be too close on them, because with this game, everything isn't the most responsible or do directly what you want it to do in real time. Don't follow them. Just take a slight enough step to them. Cut the ring off. If you see them move in a certain direction, you move that direction to the best of your ability without getting boxed in. You don't have to do too much sidestepping. The goal you want is to tire them out. So figure out a way to cut the ring off by moving laterally, stepping in. You want to master stepping in to where you could really cut that angle off, and now you got them in the pocket. And you just want to be able to practice certain things that allow you to fight better. You know, change the AI tendencies. You don't have to just get straight online and practice this. I mean, go into a match and then you trying to work on it. You go practice this against the AI, the computer. You could go create a boxer, make him an all-speed demon, and make his tendencies counter punch, and then you could create a fighter, and then now you fighting with that fighter, and you basically working on your game like that in real time. So I encourage that 100%. Don't follow your opponent. Cut the ring off. Take away their dominant side. If they like to go this way, you go the opposite way. Well, their side. You see what I'm saying? Like if they go right, you go left. Vice versa, bro. Make them fight faster than they want. Throw power shots. Don't just power uppercut with Sugar Ray Leonard. You know, if you applying pressure, I'm talking from the perspective of, I know you probably using the fighter that got some form of power, or even if you ain't, because the person you going against is just a better boxer than you still got to have some form of power or strength to where you can still execute that. And one of the ways you can execute that is by creating a fighter in OWC that have respectable punches, or an inside fighter or whatever it may be. Make sure they kind of balance. See what I'm saying? Even if you are using the guy like a Sugar Ray Leonard, look at his punches. He got respectable punches even though he's a boxer. So most guys you could do this with, even if they ain't primarily a puncher. It's just you got to make sure you close in range. Now, with punch styles, it definitely make this harder, because what I'm telling you guys to do with this particular style, like applying pressure, you could do this with any fighter, but it does work better with primarily aggressive fighters. However, this techniques work with any fighter. I don't care if it's Emmanuel Augustus, this technique work. It ain't gonna probably work as high as you want it to work, but it does still work. So that's my take on it. Force them to fight in a whole nother direction. Take your time, apply pressure, come up with combinations for the angle they rotating. If they fighting you if they southpaw, we already know what to do. We're gonna rotate to our left. Obviously, if you southpaw, it's the same as I applied with orthodox v orthodox. Feel me? Like all of this stuff vary for either style. So that's my take on it, man. That's how you apply smart pressure. If you all are confused with any of the comments I said, leave a comment below, and I'll obviously respond and address it, and we'll go from there. But we're trying to create GOATs for the future, and yeah, let's get it, man. We out. Hit that subscribe button. Respect.